be taking an in-depth review on the Kohler Walk-In Bathtub. So we're going to cover everything on this bathtub from a contractor's point of view, from my objective perspective. We're going to look at everything from the jetting, door construction, the construction material of the bathtub, drain size, the frame of the bathtub, faucet, projected flow rates, grab bars, the ease of entry, button style, and the overall comfort of the bathtub. So let's get right into it. So the first thing I want to cover with this bathtub is just the overall comfort, get a feel for what it's like to sit in the Kohler Walk-In Bathtub. So first things first, we're looking down at my feet. Let's talk about the jetting. So we've got some jets on the floor. We've got a combination of air jets and water jets. You're going to notice that the front of the bathtub is like almost 90 degrees from the floor, so it's very vertical. So comfortably, my feet are in this position. That's kind of, you're comfortable where you want to have your feet placed. These jets for your feet are up here. So truly, for me to get both of my feet on these jets, I am up off the floor. I don't know, I'm going to project that that's about 6 inches. Here's my jets. Now we're looking at these jets and we are roughly on center, about 10 inches on center. Where I'd like to see these jets is down closer to, say, 5 inches on center. Now the air jet system, these are lower, but again, none of this really makes any sense down here. Why weren't the water jets dropped down lower? Why weren't the air jets all placed down on the floor? That's the most sensible solution. I can't say for sure, but it almost seems like this was ease of manufacturing or some sort of an engineer for the manifolds and the piping behind the bathtub. But I can tell you for sure that these things are not placed in order to make this more therapeutic, more accessible, easier for a senior citizen or somebody with a disability to get therapy out of the bathtub. So overflow. So this is the overflow of the bathtub. As you rotate this thing left and right, the drain assembly is going to pop up and down on the bathtub. One thing I'm noticing, overflow dictates the water level of your bathtub. So, if that's the bottom of the overflow, you can actually kind of see the opening right here on the overflow. Your water level is going to be approximately right about here on the bathtub. That is really low. We're going to get the tape measure out and take a look at that. But what you're doing is you're leaving all of this extra space on the tub. So we are approximately 6 inches down below the top of the bathtub is your maximum water level. Now, one thing you're going to notice is that your faucet is off-centered here, is centered and the overflow is off-centered. So you've got your supply lines coming down for your bathtub. I have a feeling, one, this was off-centered as a matter of engineering to make this thing work, and that's fine, no big deal. It does make installation more complicated because now your plumber has to come down, he has to offset his overflow, drop down into the waste. So again, the engineers, when this thing was designed, were not considerate of either the installers nor the users. We know that because of where these jets are placed. We are also going to real quick touch on the drain. The drain is 1.5 inches. So we've got a gravity-fed drain. When you open the drain, boom, gravity takes over, water shoots down the drain. This is a standard 1.5 inch waste and overflow assembly. Okay, the inside diameter of the pipe is approximately 1.5 inches. So that's going to be kind of your standard and your slowest drain speed. It's what you put on a bathtub from the 1950s. It's what we still put on a standard 30 by 60 or Whirlpool bathtub in your bathroom. Kohler's got beautiful fixtures. They put a lot of thought into design. So, we've got real nice, easy to use, silky smooth cartridges in these faucets. Nice, solid brass gooseneck. Nice, even the handheld shower trim is solid brass. Really well done up here. You can see this is all Kohler brand, Kohler made. everything in-house, probably even the drain, waste, and overflow assembly. Nice feel on the grab bar. This feels like a nice solid grab bar. We've looked at others that, you could just tell that they were, exceptionally economical. This is my favorite type of control. If you have carpal tunnel or arthritis, this is a piece of cake to use. You can press it with your whole palm. If you're contacting, the switch. This type of switch, these control pads, these can be really hard to use if you have arthritis, carpal tunnel. If, occasionally you'll even have folks, with Alzheimer's or dementia that just get a little bit confused. There's no labels on this control pad. There's no labels anywhere. So potentially there could be some confusion using these controls, but I love the plunger. Don't like the control pad just because I'm concerned not everybody is going to be able to get down into these switches. The handle itself, so on this particular handle, you would not reach around it. So the way you would enter and exit the bathtub, I think for myself, I would kind of do a grip like this, and I would open and close it like this. To push it down, it's very easy. Even if you had arthritis or carpal tunnel, no trouble getting that handle closed. It is plastic. There is no metal. There's no disguising the fact that it's plastic. This is just a plastic handle. What it does is when it comes down, it impacts this stainless steel shim or the strike plate on the door. And it looks to me like that is just glued on. So it's some sort of a glued on. I can't imagine it's only glue. There must be some epoxy or resin behind it to hold that on, but there are no exposed fasteners. So handle overall, don't like the construction quality, but I love the ergonomic design. This is going to be really easy for folks to use. I want to give you a better idea. Again, I'm going to regress back to the overall fill height of the bathtub. So we're saying, let's be fair. We're right at the top of the deck, and it's 6 inches. 6 inches is to the bottom of the waste and overflow. So that's your max water level. I'm going to show you on your back. Let's come over this way. So you're soaking in this bathtub. 6 inches is your max water level. So, you can see that, my shoulders, I'm 6'2". I'm going to be, kind of up in this area somewhere. And this thing is going to allow me, just kind of think of yourself. So, if you're sitting in a seat 6 inches up off the seat, you're going to be able to soak to about 14 inches up off the seat. So grab a tape measure, sit down in a chair, measure up 14 inches. That's your max water level in this bathtub. So these jets, they're actually all, which is really unique. Of course, Kohler does a lot of their own manufacturing, which is cool. They got their stamp on all these jets. Here's the deal. People in a walk-in bathtub potentially have sensitive backs, have gone through back surgeries, etc. You're really getting this bathtub for therapy. Look at this bathtub protrudes out more than any other bathtub I've seen on the market. Now, one thing that I do hear as feedback is they'll comment on, I wish I didn't feel the jets. So one thing that the companies that do the best job at designing and building walk-in bathtubs do is they create a real smooth, flush walk-in tub jet. When we're on the bathtub seat, what I like to see are a lot of jets. It's all about the jets. So in this bathtub, we've got this nice little V pattern. Seems a little bit arbitrary, but it is popular, this design in walk-in bathtubs. Your spine's going through here. These guys are hitting nice and low. That's great. Nice and low on the lower back, and then coming up on the left and the right of your spine. You've got the bubbles in the back. So these are the air massage, these smaller jets. It's very arbitrary. It doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense why all the jets are, one, on the front of the tub. They're like in this similar pattern. They're just kind of drilled in on the very vertical surface of the tub. And they're just in like this odd arbitrary zigzag pattern just to kind of check a box and say, hey, we got jets. But let's take a look. Where are the rest of the jets? There's no hip jets. There's no waist jets. All we have are this odd arbitrary pattern of zigzag jets. What I'd really like to see in a well-designed bathtub are some hip jets. Let's get some waist jets in here. How about some bidet jets? We do also have some jets on the back of the legs, more bubble jets, more air jets, and water jets. So we've got a combination coming out on the back of the leg. And then right down here is our intake screen to suck all the water into the whirlpool pump. The back of this bathtub, similar to the front, while it looks really aesthetically pleasing, it's kind of a modern look, the fact is this thing is like almost plumb, meaning, I don't know, it must have 5 degrees of incline. It's very little incline. When you are seated in this bathtub, you are more upright than you are in any other bathtub that I've sat in. It is very upright. Now this is objective. For me, I like just some level of incline, more similar to like a dining room chair. The seat width is fantastic in this bathtub. You know, for a, let's real quick double check the width on this guy. So on a 27 5/8, call it 3/4 inch. I'm sure this is a 28-inch bathtub. Actual measurements being about 27 3/4. What's great about that is it'll go through just about any doorway in your home. However, pulling a doorway apart is not how I go shopping for a walk-in bathtub. In your home, you're going to have a 30-inch by 60-inch bathtub. I mean, 8 out of 10 homes, that's the bathtub you have. Go with a 30-inch model bathtub. What they do with the Kohler is they end up adding a fill on the back side of the bathtub so that they can fit multiple different spaces with this smaller bathtub. Now, what they have done on this Kohler is given it a real nice seat width. Let's take a look at this guy. So it's 21 and, you know, I'll call this 3/8. We'll call it 21.5 inches on the seat width. It just doesn't make any sense to me to put a 28-inch tub in a 30-inch space. You know, match the tub to the space. So overall, standing up in the bathtub, if you're going to stand in here and shower, you've got plenty of space. I mean, this is a really nice stand-up shower space. You know, so if you're going to have some family members standing up and showering, no trouble in the Kohler. On the floor, that where I'm at today, and I'm using their bathtub for this video, they have told me that they cannot get the floor of this bathtub any cleaner than it is. There's something about the texture on the bottom of this floor where the dirt and debris just gets like stuck in it. You know, they were telling me, hey, tub guy, you know, we've used magic erasers, the Mr. Cleans. We just can't get this bathtub clean. I said, okay, well, I'll mention it in the video. Let's see how this operates with me standing up for ease of use. So we pull up on the door handle, door swings open. You know, because there's extra space in the bottom of this bathtub, I do have more clearance on this door swing. Now, again, I'm 6'2", I'm about 210, 215. I'm fairly fit, and this is kind of the maneuverability here. So I want you to get a real good idea on what kind of clearance you're going to have with this door swing. Now let's go ahead and check how this bathtub will be if I'm seated in the tub and I'm doing this door swing. I'm going to try to get a good angle here, and seated in the bathtub, you know, I'm going to be doing one of these. So I'm kind of moving my legs off to the side, and I'm opening and closing the door of the tub in this fashion. So I will say that I have seen bathtubs that were pretty challenging to get in and out of. This bathtub, I would say, is not bad at all. This is, for an inward swing door bathtub, I would say most folks are going to be real happy with that door swing. All right, let's go ahead and step out of the bathtub and take a look at this door. So with doors, I really don't like an acrylic or a composite door on my walk-in bathtub. It would kind of be my bottom of the list manufacturing material, and the reason is, right now, this door is 68, 70 degrees. It's in the, you know, it's just sitting around in ambient air temperature. I fill this bathtub up with 105 to 115 degree hot soaking bathing water. And the composite materials in the acrylics are going to expand and contract, expand and contract. It causes these doors to warp. You can get different bows, and ultimately what can happen is you get door leaks. And let's go ahead and check. The best way to do it is just give it the old, yep, this is a hollow plastic door. The actual construction method of this door, I'm not really sure. I don't see any seams from thermal welding. They're probably pretty well hidden. They've done a nice job kind of coating this bathtub. So the fit and finish of the door is fantastic. It's got this built-in, they kind of talk about this profile as being an additional grab bar, you know, and right over in here, this is also, this is a grab bar, but I'll tell you what, it is really odd. There's like some sort of goo in this thing. Let's see what this is. Yeah, there's like some huge gob of silicone up in here that they like hid underneath this area that everybody's supposed to grab. Yeah, you can kind of see in this corner. This is what it is. So like this thing is like glued with silicone to this thing. Not a big fan of that. Yeah, interesting. So here's some of that. This isn't even thermo welded. Here's a seam right here. So this whole panel right here, which probably for serviceability, you could rip this thing apart if you had to, but it's just caulked, you know? It's just caulked. It's not even thermo welded. So this whole front skirt is just silicone to the rest of the bathtub. I mean, it's a nice, neat finish, just kind of odd. Nothing to complain about, though. Definitely not a bad thing. They did a nice job with it. It's just strange. All right, so let's go ahead and finish going through this bathtub door. So one, you're gonna see there's a little hole right here, and I'm guessing I'm gonna find one. Am I gonna find one on the bottom of the door also? Sometimes they have little drain holes on the bottom of this door. I do not feel that, so that must just be like maybe a vent from manufacturing or something. But here's what I noticed. Door seal does not go to the top of the bathtub door. That is crazy. This is nuts. Look at this thing. This bathtub door seal, let's grab that tape measure real quick. Look at this. This bathtub door seal doesn't really start. I mean, you have to think you have to get to the full compression portion of the seal. You're 6 inches down. It matches the overflow. So here's the problem with this, folks. You fill the bathtub up with still water. Your water level is just sitting nice and still right at 6 inches down. Then you hit all the jets. Now it's rolling around like a boiling pot of water. You got bubbles going, you got jets going, this water splashing around. It's going right over the top of this door seal. I mean, I have no idea how this doesn't leak. I have no idea. This is blowing my mind right now. This is completely blowing my mind. This combined with that overflow, this is crazy. All right, so that's seal. Outside of that, door seal, okay, it is integrated into the door. I like it. It's not just glued on until you get up into here, and then you've got this weird little gob of silicone. Look at this. Somebody just took their thumb and was like, so that's kind of sloppy, but whatever, it's okay. It's a bathtub. It is what it is. I'm sure they give you a great warranty with it. All right, let's look at this piano hinge. So this is a stainless hinge, but what you'll notice, it's on the water side of the tub. So on the water side, you've got all these screw holes. There's going to be a bead of silicone running behind this door hinge, and then they go ahead and they screw and they zip all these screws in. They do the same thing on the tub side. It is a very strong hinge. It's a full hinge going all the way down the length of the tub door, and it is stainless. So, I mean, the quality of the hinge is fantastic. It's a standard hinge that you would find on anything. You know, I mean, you could use this on the top of a storage container, on a toolbox. This is a hinge you could pick up at Home Depot or something very similar. So the hinge design, super strong, yes. Don't like the fact that all the screw holes are on the water side of the door seal. All right, let's see what else we got going on. Let's take a look at the actual construction of this walk-in bathtub. So what I want to see is an acrylic shell. I do not want to see a fiberglass shell. Those are the two materials folks make walk-in bathtubs. Let me tell you why I don't want to see fiberglass. Fiberglass, the finish is a gel coat. It's brittle, it doesn't expand and contract, it can get spider cracking in it. You'll see a lot of fiberglass shower pans in people's homes. Builders put them in all the time, and they'll have little spider cracks in them, or something will drop and impact it, and it'll put a chip in the finish. Gel coat is very difficult to repair. You end up having to Bondo the gel coat, wet sand it, finish it, match it. It's just a big process, and getting it to look good is really complicated. Oftentimes you actually end up coming in and you end up doing a respray on the bathtub just to blend it in. Then you end up potentially with the orange peel, just a big pain in the butt. You go with the acrylic, one, it retains the heat really well, so while you're draining the bathtub, it's gonna be nice and warm. I love that about the acrylic. But also, you drop something on it, you're gonna dent it, you're not gonna crack it, you're never gonna get spider cracking. It's easy. If you do get a scratch in it, you just buff and polish it out. It's a beautiful material. So let's see what this guy's made out of. Where's a good place to check? Here we go. All right, so at some point this bathtub ended up having a cut, and the reason this bathtub was cut at some point, probably for display, because they get shipped with this extra little wing, this little flagpole sticking off right here. It makes them really challenging to install. I really like the bathtubs that come 52 inches long, and then you assemble the fill kit on site. But these bathtubs, it's another Kohler engineering thing. It's like, why do you do this stuff? Completely inconsiderate of installation, and also now we know with jetting water level and some of the other things, pretty inconsiderate in my opinion, very objective, but my opinion of the end user. So this has been cut off. We can investigate right here, and it shows that this is a gel coat. You can see right in this particular crack, this is a gel coat applied to the fiberglass bathtub. So, you know, when these things chip, just kind of a pain in the butt. You could get a fiberglass tub and never have trouble with it. I mean, it's super common. I'm just saying that I would suggest if you had two bathtubs in mind and they both were equal, one was fiberglass, one was acrylic, go with the acrylic. You're going to be a lot happier. Let's dig into Faucetry. So we all know Kohler makes a fantastic fixture. Let's see. So this is a 1/2-inch faucet. The thing I don't like about 1/2-inch faucets is they do restrict water flow. I'd love to see a 3/4-inch high flow cartridge in these. You can see that these are all threaded and piped for 1/2-inch. It's not like they reduce from 3/4 to half. They sweat half into half, 1/2-inch adapters, 1/2-inch to 1/2-inch to 1/2-inch to 1/2-inch. So the other negative with this faucet is that it is all sweat. So it's a pain in the butt to service. If you ever have to replace this thing, you know, there are so many more modern ways of doing fixture installation now. This is kind of a dinosaur in the fact that, you know, you're forced to sweat everything together. Walk-in bathtubs really need to be serviceable. You know, it's not unusual to have to get in and say, replace a part, replace a fitting. I mean, it's a bathtub. You know, things happen. And this would be exceptionally difficult to get in and service. Let's see. So the fiberglass they use, you can see how fine the fiberglass mesh is. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful fiberglass work on the inside of the tub. I really love that. Now, you'll notice here's something we're not going to talk about on every tub, but we are going to mention on this Kohler. You can see how low this thing is to the ground. The problem with that, you can see even in this showroom that I'm at, they had to take the waste and overflow assembly off, because in order to actually have that waste and overflow assembly, you have to cut a hole in the ground, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But if you have any experience installing walk-in bathtubs, most of these manufacturers, like this bathtub sitting right next to us, allow you to run the waste and overflow assembly above the deck. So above the subfloor as needed. You have to be able to pipe and get your hands in on these things. So just imagine you're installing this walk-in bathtub. You've got this thing slammed down to the ground. You've got this part of the bathtub that comes from the manufacturer, so you can't even get your hands in underneath this bathtub. It's a complete and total nightmare to install. What if you're on a concrete slab and you can't get down in the basement? How are you going to address your fittings? You're going to end up needing to use rubber couplers and get in there with a nut driver just so you can put the pipe together. So much nicer being able to have a bathtub that you can actually work on. You'll notice kind of a theme with this tub, and it's just starting to dawn on me as well. It sounds like the engineers really put a lot of thought into something, but it certainly wasn't the installation or the end user. This is kind of blowing me away the more we're digging into this bathtub. All right, so let's go and do an overall, just kind of a quick once over on the aesthetics of this tub. Let's take a quick peek at this bad boy. All right, so here's your Kohler walk-in bathtub. Not bad. I mean, it's a nice looking tub. Aesthetically pleasing, nice wide seat. It's not bad. You know, I mean, it's unfortunate that some of the other things that we've had to cover in this video, you know, are so staggering. You know, they're not small items. These are like mega items. And I really hope that, you know, some of this stuff is helpful when you're shopping for the walk-in bathtub. So I hope this video really helped everybody when looking for a new walk-in bathtub. This is the Kohler Walk-In Bathtub. You know, today we've covered everything from water levels to door construction, door seal, faucets, depth, width, layout, grab bars, all the different bells and whistles that are available on this bathtub. We've talked about construction and you name it, so I think we've really dug in pretty deep and given this thing a thorough tire kick. So if this video was helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel. Check out my podcast and watch the other videos. I'm going to be covering all the different makes and models of walk-in bathtubs. We're here visiting this beautiful showroom, and I'm going to be going through this thing tub by tub, checking out everything and giving you the That Tub Guy stamp of approval and telling you what I really think. So thanks again. Thanks for tuning in.